On Global Television News Express, National Security Advisor meets service chiefs. In business, Ghana, Nigeria, customs strengthens ties for regional trade. On the foreign scene, South Korea says nuclear submarine possible within 15 years after U.S. nod. And in sports, Osimhen ready to lead Galatasaray to Champions League victory. Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and StarTimes channel 276. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has met with service chiefs and heads of security and intelligence agencies over the decision of United States President Donald Trump to move against Nigeria, following allegations of Christian genocide in the country. The meeting came as Trump had said ground operations and airstrike could form part of U.S. attack in Nigeria. This is coming amidst announcements by the Chadian government to immediately close its border with Nigeria, attributing it to security concerns, following reports of alleged U.S. military plans over Christian killings and genocide in Nigeria. There was a rowdy and highly charged atmosphere in the House of Representatives today as lawmakers clash over a motion of urgent public importance seeking an investigation into the alleged illegal allocation of the federal government land at the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick has details.
What began as a routine plenary soon turned chaotic. Tension rose when lawmaker Ademoyi Kuyi sought to present a motion of urgent public importance on alleged illegal land allocations at the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex. The motion immediately drew opposition from some members who argued that it failed to meet the criteria for urgency, which typically involve loss of lives or destruction of property. The chamber descended into a rowdy scene, forcing Speaker Benjamin Kalu, who presided over plenary, to repeatedly call the House to order. Despite a heated exchange, the motion eventually passed, winning majority support. But the uproar resumed moments later as lawmakers raised fresh objections while the motion moved to its next stage. The speaker once again had to intervene to restore calm. In the adopted motion, the House expressed concern over alleged criminal allocations and distortions of the original 350-hectare master plan of the Trade Fair Complex. The sponsor of the motion claimed that portions of the federal land were being fragmented, sold, or leased illegally, threatening both businesses, stability, and national revenue. He warned that mismanagement at the complex had reached a level capable of triggering ethnic and commercial tension among traders. The House therefore mandated the Committee on Public Assets to investigate the matter, focusing on the management of the complex, alleged land racketeering, and the role of the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex Limited. But just when the chamber appeared to settle, another wave of commotion broke out after a member moved for an executive session, sparking renewed confrontation among lawmakers. The session later went behind closed doors, but the controversies over the Lagos Trade Fair land is far from over. The outcome of the investigation could determine the fate of one of Nigeria's largest commercial hubs. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global Television News.
Sum of 19.9 billion naira for the execution of various development projects across the state. Briefing newsmen on the outcome of the 33rd Executive Council meeting, the State Commissioner of Information, Ibrahim Waye, said approval follows a deliberation on critical issues affecting the state. Global Television correspondent Idris Jibrin was there and now reports.
Chaired by the Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, the 33rd Executive Council meeting of the Kano State Government focuses on critical issues of governance affecting the state. After a series of presentations by commissioners of various ministries, The sum of 4.9 billion naira for the Ministry of Education was approved.
The breakdowns include 380,957,001 naira for settlement of outstanding liabilities due to the Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies enviers. 260,015,629,000 naira, 64 kobo for the purchase of 2 shops adjoining the Engineer Rabi Musa Concourse of Women's Skills Center.
To improve healthcare delivery across the state, the council equally approved the sum of 274.7 million naira for the renovation of various healthcare facilities across the state, while the sum of 3.3 billion naira has been approved for the project under the Ministry of Water Resources.
670,455,779 naira 12 kobo for payment of KEDCO electricity bills for the State Water Board covering 3 months. 1,772,800,000 for settlement update on diesel, AGO, and petrol females supplied for water treatment plants and the Water Board headquarters.
To enhance energy sustainability in Kano, the council approved the sum of over 900 million naira for the supply and installation of solar-powered street lights across the state.
139,528,317 naira 83 kobo for supply and installation of alternative solar power system at the Council Affairs Directorate. 840,361,675 naira 73 kobo for supply and installation of 150 kV solar powered backup system at Africa House, Government House.
Meanwhile, the commissioners say Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has since directed all ministries affected to immediately commence work and ensure prudent management of government resources. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, Global Television News.
A new dawn for the Defense and Police Officers' Wife Association, the POWA, as a seamless transition of leadership takes place from the 16th. The POWA president, the outgoing president, Mrs. Obo Buami Musa, called for stronger bond within the association as she passed the baton to her successor, Mrs. Mami Femi Oluyede, in Abuja. Samuel Odi completes the report.
The handing and taking over ceremony marks the end of an era and the beginning of another, as the outgoing POWA president firmly transfers the mantle of leadership to her successor, promising continued empowerment for military and police families across the nation. The atmosphere was filled with grace, gratitude, and optimism as members of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association gathered for the official handover ceremony at the association's national secretariat. The outgoing president says leadership is about continuity, and she is handing over with a heart full of gratitude and confidence. She urged the incoming president and her team to remain steadfast in promoting unity, discipline, and compassion among members.
Together, we champion women empowerment and skill building programs, creating opportunities for personal growth, dignity, and self-reliance. We also invested in the welfare of our barracks community through health and family support initiatives.
While giving her acceptance speech, Mrs. Femi Oluyede appreciates the outgoing president for her visionary leadership and ensuring contribution to the POWA and the nation at large.
Today marks not just a ceremony of transition, but the continuation of a profound mission to support, uplift, and empower the families who stand behind the men and women safeguarding our nation. As our officers, soldiers, airmen, sailors, and police personnel dedicate their lives to securing our nation, we must stand as the shield behind the shield.
Oluyede added that together, the sustained values of service, sacrifice, and sisterhood that defines the POWA shall continue to reign louder as all members join hands with her in the new journey. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party appears to be far from over. A faction led by Mohammed Abdurrahman is taking over the party's national secretariat, Wadata Plaza, in Abuja, claiming to be the authentic leadership of the PDP. Our correspondent reports.
Tensions heightened today at the Wadata Plaza headquarters of the People's Democratic Party as a faction loyal to the National Secretary, Senator Sam Anyanwu, stormed the secretariat alongside Mohammed Abdurrahman, who declared himself the new chairman of the party. Until its emergence, Abdurrahman served as the vice chairman of the North Central Zone of the PDP. He was declared acting national chairman on the 3rd of November 2025 by a faction of the National Working Committee led by Senator Anyanwu. After his inauguration, Abdurrahman pledged to unite the party and restore internal democracy, promising to, in his word, heal the PDP of its wound and end factionalism.
Now we can put our head together to make sure that we bring this party to where it belongs to. We all know the slogan of our party is People's Democratic Party, and the power is to the people.
The takeover occurred amid heavy security presence around the secretariat to prevent any breakdown of law and order. Prominent PDP figures, including former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose, have, however, welcomed Abdurrahman's emergence, describing it as a new beginning for the party. As at the time of this report, calm has returned to the area, though the party remains sharply divided over its leadership structure. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Environment through the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project was hosted a stakeholders meeting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to discuss strategic steps towards environmental protection in Ogoniland. Our correspondent reports.
Following the approval of recommendations by Professor Dam, Paridam's Technical Committee for the Center of Excellence and Environmental Restoration, CEER, the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas, reaffirms government's commitment to ensuring a cleaner and safer Ogoniland. Speaking at the meeting, Professor Nani Barini Zabi said the gathering marks a critical milestone in government's efforts to implement the United Nations Environment Programme UNEP recommendations in the region. He emphasized that the provision of potable water, shoreline cleanup, and mangrove restoration remains key priorities.
In line with the directives contained in the Hybrid Establishment Gazette, the establishment of the Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration is a key recommendation of the United Nations Environment Programme report on Ogoniland.
But after everything would have finished about oil exploration or maybe our cleanup, this is what we are going to see. Now, since it's a key recommendation.
Delivering the keynote address, international researcher Professor Craig Sample noted that innovation, operational methods can further enhance sustainability and accelerate the pace of cleanup projects in Ogoniland.
And that collaboration is not just about bringing researchers from the university sector together or from research institutes. It's also about bringing in.
Stakeholders at the meeting agreed that collaboration, transparency, and effective monitoring remains essential to achieving lasting restoration and rebuilding the trust of the Ogoni people. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Ghana, Nigeria Customs strengthens ties for regional trade. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. In business, the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, says customs across Africa must play a greater role in driving continental integration and boosting intra-African trade. Speaking at the strategic meeting with the Secretary General Africa Continental Free Trade Area, Wakele Mene, on efforts to enhance trade relations within the continent Adeniyi emphasized that the customs administrations have a vital role in promoting economic prosperity and development across Africa. Business correspondent Kike Lomo-Okere has more.
Recent data from the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that as of 2024, Africa has become Nigeria's largest export destination, a clear sign of growing regional trade. At a joint meeting with the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, and the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Adeniyi emphasized that the success of the trade agreement depends on collaboration among key stakeholders to boost intra-African trade and drive economic growth. Adeniyi therefore called for stronger institutional framework to ensure the custom operations are better integrated into existing continental structures.
Secondly, the existing structure which the Secretariat has created, bringing together all heads of customs administration, also needed to be strengthened so that once we institutionalize customs part, we will be able to situate it and let it operate within the existing structure which the Secretariat has created.
The Nigerian Customs Service reaffirmed its commitment to supporting the AfCFTA agenda by promoting compliance among small businesses and export-oriented enterprises. The African Continental Free Trade Area Secretary General Wamkele Mene says partnership with the Customs Administration and the private sector is critical to realizing Africa's economic integration goals. He noted that the Nigerian customs authorities are central to implementation of AfCFTA, particularly in area of data collection and statistics gathering, which are vital for measuring the true impact of the agreement.
Our private meeting, customs authorities are at the heart of implementation of the AfCFTA, so it is expected that we collaborate for implementation. And finally,
the Secretary General also stressed the importance of structured engagement with private sector, saying it will help address trade challenges such as infrastructure deficit, high logistic costs, and currency conversion barriers. With sustained collaboration between Nigerian customs, the AfCFTA Secretariat, and the private sectors, stakeholders believes Africa is on the course to achieving deeper integration and shared prosperity through trade. Kike Lomo-Okere, Global Television News.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening regional cooperation and promoting intra-African trade, following his recent election as chairman of the World Customs Organization. Speaking during a visit to the Commissioner of Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority, Brigadier General Glovo Ashon Anang, the Comptroller General expressed deep appreciation to the customs leadership for their goodwill and support, noting that their encouragement was instrumental from the early stages of his candidacy. Kike Lomo-Okere also has details.
The collaboration between Ghana and Nigerian Customs Service has received a major boost as both countries reaffirmed their commitment to deepen regional trade and security cooperation. During a visit to Ghana, the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, emphasized the need to harmonize custom procedures in support of the African Continental Free Trade Area, while promoting capacity-building initiatives that enhance professionalism among customs officers. It says the visit reflects the strong and enduring bond between Ghana and Nigeria, two nations united by history, culture, and a shared vision for prosperous West Africa.
Most of my visits is to give meaning to the expression charity begins at home and seek your support for the mission itself. The mission is for us to see how better customs can play its role as the major promoter of the African continental free trade. We want to increase the volume of trades that we do within Africa. We want
The Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Brigadier General Glover Ashong Anan, described the visit of the Nigerian Comptroller General of Customs as a proud moment for Africa, recognizing the exceptional leadership and achievements of the Nigerian Customs Service. He expressed readiness to work closely with Nigeria in strengthening intelligence sharing and joint operation against transnational crimes.
Together, we know that we must strengthen intelligence sharing and then also enhance joint operations against transnational crimes. We must also harmonize customs procedures to support the African continental free trade area and then deepen capacity building initiatives that empower our officers to serve with integrity and excellence.
The meeting further reinforced bilateral cooperation between the two customs administrations, paving the way for stronger economic relations and regional growth. As the delegation continues its engagement, both sides express optimism that the renewed partnership will drive trade facilitation and strengthen the fight against economic and border crimes across West Africa. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
On the foreign scene, Kenyan opposition leaders have condemned Tanzanian election as a sham amid reports of mass casualty and a digital blackout, questioning President Ruto's silence as regional stability hangs in the balance. Kenyan politician Martha Akuru, Professor Kivuta Kibwana, and Kenyan Human Rights Commissioner Juan Shise Mokuka gave a press statement on a situation in Tanzania where hundreds are feared dead after a post-elections protest. Uyi Agbomopoekbe completes the story.
The Kenyan political figures, in their fierce condemnation of the electoral exercise and its outcome, labeled the landslide victory of President Samia Suluhu Hassan a fraudulent exercise conducted amid a violent state crackdown and a communications blackout, calling on regional institutions to show leadership. Their remarks made at a press conference in Nairobi amplify regional concerns over a deepening political crisis in the neighboring country that threatens East African stability.
Anybody who tries to legitimize what has happened in Tanzania does not wish Tanzania well, does not wish Africa well. We need to overcome the impunity that has become king in the region of East Africa and in parts of Africa. We are looking for leadership from the AU, from the sub-regional bodies.
Kivutha Kibwana is a Kenyan politician and human rights activist. He was Minister for Defense, Minister for Environment, and a member of the Parliament for the Makueni constituency in the East African country. By his assessment, he says the scale of human rights concerns left in the wake of the Tanzanian election makes it impossible to rate the exercise as credible.
Given the human rights and current security situation in Tanzania, it is impossible to say that credible elections took place on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. It is now day 5 of the internet blackout amidst mass killings and a fraudulent electoral process.
The Electoral Commission said Hassan won 97.66% of the votes, with turnouts at 87%, despite reports from journalists and other observers that polling stations were largely empty. Uyi Agbomopoekbe reporting for Global TV News.
United will face title holders Pyramids of Egypt after the CAF Champions League group draw was made in Johannesburg on Monday. Renaissance Bakene of Morocco and Power Dynamos of Zambia completes Group A, with Pyramids the only club among the 4 who have qualified before for the mini-league phase. As Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. The National Security Advisor, NSA Malam Nuhu Ribadu, yesterday met with service chiefs and head of security and intelligence agencies over the decision of U.S. President Donald Trump to move against Nigeria following allegations of Christian genocide in the country. In business, the Comptroller General of Nigeria's Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening regional cooperation and promoting intra-African trade, following his recent election as chairman of the World Customs Organization. On the foreign scene, South Korea expects to launch its first nuclear-powered submarine by late 2030s, as senior defense ministry officials told ministers on Tuesday, days after Washington had approved Seoul's plan. And in sports, Nigeria star striker Victor Osimhen says he's ready to take Galatasaray to new heights in the UEFA Champions League, insisting it's time to make its statement in the most prestigious games. And that's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Ubon Usoro. Bye for now.